January 20th, 2025. Happy Martin Luther King Day. Today is a national holiday. Of course, we recognize all the efforts made by Martin Luther King and all the participants in the civil rights movement in this country. And we'll just acknowledge that at the top here. Also, today is Inauguration Day, so that's going on right now, even as we're going through this live. And a brief word about the TikTok ban this weekend. It was a very interesting weekend, and all the ups and downs, back and forth. We are back on the live today. We missed one day with the lives, but we'll cover all that information today, and we'll keep that as part of the discussion. January 20th, we are looking at Lesson 20 in A Course in Miracles. And Lesson 20 says, I am determined to see. So we have been through the first 50 lessons in A Course in Miracles. Of course, as stated, we are deprogramming our mind. We're dissolving our old ways of thinking and perceiving the world. This is the first step. And the first 20 lessons have now resolved themselves into I am determined to see. Yesterday, we reminded ourselves I am not alone in experiencing the effects of my thoughts. So it was pointed out in the lesson yesterday that our minds are one. Our minds are one with God. There is one mind, there is one consciousness. And so we are all, it is a unified state of consciousness, and we are all one. So today we are now saying, I am determined to see, as we understand that as we see, so does everyone else begin to see, since because of the shared nature of consciousness. And it says here, we have been quite casual about our practice periods thus far. There has been virtually no attempt to direct the time for undertaking them. Minimal effort has been required, and not even active cooperation and interest have been asked. This approach has been intentional and very carefully planned. We have not lost sight of the crucial importance of the reversal of your thinking. The salvation of the world depends on it. How about that first statement? The salvation of the world depends on your thinking. Jeremy, Doc, David, Nature, Carrie, anyone who's in the room, I see a couple people in the room, tap the screen, hit the like button, put some hearts up there for me. We'd appreciate it. It helps with the algorithm. I appreciate it. And we will get this study at the Course in Miracles out to more people. Nope, just joined. Nope. This is our first attempt to introduce structure. The Lesson 20 says, do not misconstrue it as an effort to exert force or pressure. You want salvation. You want to be happy. You want peace. Now we have to admit you do not have them now because your mind is totally undisciplined. And you cannot distinguish between joy and sorrow, pleasure and pain, love and fear. You are now learning how to tell them apart, and great indeed will be your reward. So it's important to admit, right, that there's a problem with my thinking. I'm confused. Now, I don't want to continue to affirm that. I just want to admit it and then move on from there. Hi, Kelly, Vintage, Clement, Rob, Daniel. Welcome everybody. If you're in the room, hit the screen, put some likes up there for us. I would appreciate it. So we're saying, I am determined to see with Course in Miracles today, and your decision to see is all that vision requires. What you want is yours. So we're setting an intention, of course, and this is a very broad and complete, unified intention. I'm determined to see. I am determined to see the truth. I am determined to become the truth. I'm determined to express the truth. Do not mistake the little effort that is asked of you for an indication that our goal is of little worth. Can the salvation of the world be a trivial purpose? And can the world be saved if you are not? God has one Son, and He is the resurrection and the life. His will is done because all power is given in Him in heaven and on earth. In your determination to see is vision given you. The exercises for today consist in reminding yourself throughout the day that you want to see. Today's idea also tacitly implies the recognition that you do not see now. So then it gives some instructions as we've been doing throughout the week with the other lessons. Repeat today's idea slowly and positively at least twice an hour today, attempting to do so every half hour. So it's also trying to introduce, as it says, some discipline and some regularity in the practice of disciplining the mind. And you may find, as many people find, that there will be resistance to that. And it continues to note that in the workbook and in the text, because the mind is split, because our mind, according to the Course in Miracles, is split between the ego mind, the selfish mind, the self-centered mind, and the Holy Spirit, the mind of God, the unified mind, one mind. The ego mind has usurped the function of the higher self and the higher mind. So the throne has been usurped, and the ego really doesn't want to give up that power, and so it will resist. So it says here in the lesson today that that resistance may appear as either resistance to accepting the idea or resistance to practicing the idea. So without feeling coerced or that I'm being forced to do something, it's suggested here today that I think about this idea. I am determined to see. I'm determined to see the truth, which implies that I'm determined to change the nature of my perception, the thoughts that I think, the conclusions I arrive at. To do that in order for my own salvation, in order to participate in the atonement, in order to participate in the salvation of the world, in order to become one with all my brothers and sisters. So that was lesson 20 from the workbook. And then we also look at a section from the text, a corresponding section from the text. So today, that would be chapter 3, section 4 is the 20th section from the text of Course in Miracles. It's entitled Error and the Ego. And it says, the abilities you now possess are only shadows of your real strength. All of your present functions are divided and open to question and doubt. This is because you are not certain how you will use them and are therefore incapable of knowledge. You are also incapable of knowledge because you can still perceive lovelessly. Perception did not exist until the separation introduced degrees, aspects, and intervals. Spirit has no levels, and all conflict arises from the concept of levels. Only the levels of the Trinity are capable of unity. The levels created by the separation cannot but conflict. This is because they are meaningless to each other. So that's an interesting paragraph, right? Levels. There's in the news these days, of course, we're hearing a lot about levels. We're hearing about this oligarchic level or this elitist level, the separation we think we perceive in the world of elitists and then the other 90% or 99% or whatever you want to call it of people in the world. This perception that sees levels, that sees differences, that sees better, worse, up, down, more, less. These are functions of the ego mind, according to Course in Miracles. Okay, and my mind has been trained to think that way. Okay, now I believe you have to have I have had to myself begin to develop a more complete world view. How is this possible? I happen to believe, for instance, that I have had multiple lives, that everybody has multiple lives. And, in the old Eastern or Hindu sense of reincarnation, there was a succession of lives and there was karma. That idea is sort of transforming itself. Thanks for the likes. I appreciate it. That idea is sort of transforming itself now. And so the idea of a multiverse has developed, multiple lives, this moment of now, multiple lives happening. So however you want to think of it, I do think that somehow there are multiple lives and I and we have all played all of the different roles. And this is a learning situation. We are in a simulation and we are learning. We are here to learn. We are here to remember our true oneness, everybody, all together, one with another, no matter how much you make, no matter the color of your skin, no matter your gender, where you come from, where you've been, where you're going. Okay. The idea behind Course in Miracles, the idea on this channel, so you can follow along if you like to be presented with these kind of ideas, want to talk about these kind of ideas, or are on a spiritual quest or journey yourself. And the idea is that it's all one. How can I be in the world and not of it? How do I live in the world? And this is the ultimate demonstration, I think, that's being asked for. How do I live with love in this world, in this environment that is divided, that seems to be full of conflict, that seems to be full of different ideas, different opinions, different ways of looking at things? How do I live in it and accept it all, allow all of it to be? And not only that, love all of it, love my neighbor as myself, love the entire thing, enjoy the entire thing, participate in the entire thing. So here in the text, it says, you are also incapable of knowledge because you can still perceive lovelessly. It says the spirit is capable of knowledge, and however, the position we're in, the position I'm in, is one of perception. My knowledge is only partial. It says consciousness, the level of perception, was the first split introduced into the mind after the separation, making the mind a perceiver rather than a creator. Consciousness is correctly identified as the domain of the ego. The ego is a wrong-minded attempt to perceive yourself as you wish to be rather than as you are. This is an idea that's followed throughout the course that I did not create myself. I come from a greater intelligence, greater state of being. I'm created in the image and likeness of that state of being, but I did not create myself. The ego, however, thinks it created itself, thinks it thinks it knows, and from a limited perspective, okay, from a limited ability to perceive what's going on, it thinks it knows it all. Of course, you can see where that's gotten us in your individual life and also collectively. The ego is a wrong-minded attempt to perceive yourself as you wish to be rather than as you are. Yet you can know yourself only as you are, because that is all you can be sure of. Everything else is open to question. Right there, self-realization, right? Recognition of the self within the higher self. Capital S, the true self, the truth. So it's a question of identity. What is my true identity? Who am I really? Is what the Course is asking us to think about. And the way into this unified consciousness, this Advaita, it's my Midwestern accent showing through there. The way to this non-dual perception is what I think is often called the via negativa. I'm going to take away not that, not that, not that. I am not that, not that, not that. The correct use of denial, as it says here in the Course in Miracles. And then what I am left with is how I was originally created. So I'm not going to make myself anything. I'm going to take away the layers. I'm going to remove the veils. I'm going to take away the layers in my mind, all the obstructions, the wrong thinking, okay, that have accumulated and covered up the truth. It says the ego is the questioning aspect of the post-separation self, which was made rather than created. So the ego is kind of like this patchwork, right? Like Frankenstein's monster, something from here, and then we put it all together and we call it my personality. That's who I am. And the Course is saying, no, that's what I made up. That's what we made up, all these different attributes. And really, the truth of the matter is our oneness, our unity, our true state may have no characteristics, may be unknowable, sort of from this perspective, right? The unknowable, the unspeakable, the unnameable, the emptiness, the void, right? Pure consciousness, simply aware of itself, not in any conditioned sense or with any characteristics, but simply aware of awareness, the true self. The ego is the questioning aspect of the post-separation self, which was made rather than created. It is capable of asking questions, but not of perceiving meaningful answers, because these would involve knowledge and cannot be perceived. The mind is therefore confused, because only one-mindedness can be without confusion. And the idea is that the ego questions, but can never get an answer. As soon as it gets an answer, it wants another answer, or it's asking another question. So it never rests, right? So the mind always is the ego mind. And if we meditate and pray and contemplate, I think meditation has to be a part of the practice. The witnessing of the mind, the witnessing of the thoughts, watching the thoughts, being still, to begin to see how the mind functions, right, is an important part of this understanding every spiritual practice, no matter what the tradition, no matter what the lineage. Okay. Probably if you're getting in there and beginning to perceive differently, beginning to feel differently, beginning to experience things differently, probably meditation, some form of meditation, is a part of that practice. It has to be in conflict because it is out of accord with itself. This makes its aspects strangers to each other, and this is the essence of the fear-prone condition in which attack is always possible. You have every reason to feel afraid as you perceive yourself. That is why you cannot escape from fear until you realize that you did not and could not create yourself. I did not create consciousness. I did not create awareness. I just have it. I am it. Having and being are one. I have it. I am it. I am consciousness. I am awareness. You can never make your misperceptions true, and your creation is beyond your own error. That is why you must eventually choose to heal the separation. And it goes on to talk about right-mindedness should not be confused with knowing. Knowing is a complete state. Only the spirit can know. Only God can know. Only the true creation can know. Okay, and so the idea is that perception is the changing of perception is a process of learning, unlearning, and relearning, or accepting the truth. So I think we'll leave it at that for today. I will do this every day. I will start at 11 a.m. Central Time, just looking at the Course in Miracles, using the Course in Miracles as a framework to simply talk about spirituality. It's a wide-ranging conversation, of course, if you want to be a part of that conversation. All right, Bobby left a prayer for us all. Forgiveness, mercy, and grace, absolutely. And I also take these lives and I put them up on YouTube. That is SVC2011 over on YouTube. Sierra Victor Charlie, SVC2011 over on YouTube. So we are back with TikTok, and that's good. We all enjoy it. We all love it. Thanks for stopping by. I love you. I love you all. Peace and blessings. Have a great day. And I'll talk to you soon. Peace.